Welcome to Real Talk episode 10. I am Brian Rose, and this is London Real Studios, but this isn't your average episode of London Real because I'm in the guest chair, and this is where I answer your questions live for the next 30 minutes that you've submitted on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, and a lot of questions are from London Real Academy members. If you want to know more about that, check us out, londonrealacademy.com. But let's jump in. Last week, you saw me here with Hayley Quinn, the love guru, former London Real guest, and she just opened up. I didn't see that coming. I didn't know that was going to happen. I thought we were going to talk about Tinder and dating apps and how to pick up girls and how to pick up guys. But she dropped some crazy science about how she had gotten pregnant last year, broke up with her boyfriend, had a miscarriage, and had this whole new look on life and a whole new way that we look at love. And I asked her whether love was a drug, and we got into this really deep conversation. And Hayley's, I think, 28. She's been in kind of the pickup scene or the love guru scene for like 10 years, and it's fascinating for me to see these kind of PUAs, pickup artists or whatever they are, really evolve. And I think they evolve even faster than us normal people sometimes because they really put themselves out on the line emotionally a lot of the time. And I was just really pleasantly surprised to be around Hayley. She had some really good energy, amazing energy. She's actually going to be here at London Real Studios in 2 days on Friday for our biggest focus group ever. We've got like 30 people or 35 people coming to London Real Studios. It's going to be an amazing night. We're actually live streaming it as well, only for Academy members because we get a little personal, and it's going to be like a 3-hour session. It's going to be awesome. I think we're going to get a DJ. It's going to be crazy. So if you want to watch that episode with Hayley last week, it's probably on YouTube. It's episode 9, and it's really good, really impressive. And she also talked a lot about how to talk to girls if you're a guy, and if you're a girl, where to meet guys, and just really good info. I'm loving these real talks with guests. We had Brad Burton on here, the Tony Robbins of the North, about a month ago, and we're going to have more London Real guests coming back through here, and just cool people that we can talk with, but the limit is 30 minutes, so it keeps me from yapping. I'm used to 2-hour interviews here, as you know, so we're going to keep that up. So there you go. I want to get to your questions. It's been crazy around here. You've probably noticed we're releasing so many videos this week. So much is going on. And so let me just tell you a little bit about that. Ido Portal, the movement expert, the gentleman I've had on London Real twice before, who's just really blown up on the public scene very big recently because he was seen with UFC champion Conor McGregor for his pre-fight training camp for the time he was in Las Vegas, and then as he knocked out Jose Aldo in 13 seconds in December. And Ido was there by his side for the whole time, and the whole world was asking, who is Ido Portal? But of course, we at London Real, we know who Ido is. We know he's the real deal and has been for a long time. And I'm actually becoming friends with Ido, and I've spent 2 days with him and his movement experience, and he taught me all about my body. And you would have seen me posting videos now of me doing ring work, parallel bar work. I do backhand walkovers, and I'm turning 45 this year, so what's your excuse? And that's all really Ido related. My lizard walk is getting pretty professional, and so that's all influenced by Ido. And we just released a trailer for our moving conversation. It's probably the best piece of film work we've ever done, and our resident maestro on video, Luis Solarat, has been jamming on it, and we've been working on this for months. We were here over Christmas and on New Year's Eve working on it. It's crazy, so I hope you really enjoy that. It's blowing up on the Sphere, so check that out if you haven't. Also, we dropped our tribute to the late departed David Bowie. We had a special piece of video where Chris Hadfield, who is the astronaut who spent 166 days in space, he did a cover version of David Bowie's Space Oddity in space. I know, it's an astronaut that shot a video on the International Space Station, and it's a really good video. And I asked Chris about this when he was here in December. And first of all, Chris is an amazing guy. He is a pro. He's a former test pilot. He's just a badass. And when you're around him, you're like, this guy could handle things if things went wrong. And he's also got a real sensitive side and a real artistic side. And when he sings that song, it's special. And we talked about David Bowie and the song Space Oddity, his choice to sing it. And so when we got the news about David on Monday, again, Luis just really put together a beautiful, really a tribute to David, and we put that out, and everyone's really enjoying that. So please check that out. That's out there as well. And if that wasn't enough, as if we weren't already jamming here this week, we've dropped our trailer with Wim Hof, the Iceman. This is the man who holds the world record for the most time being submerged in ice, which is like 1 hour and 52 minutes. He's got a breathing technique. You would have seen his documentary on Vice, and he's an amazing man. I really treasured the time I spent with him here. He got me crying. We had a big hug at the end. You'll have to watch the full episode for that, which you can do actually as an Academy member. You can watch it right now because we release early to Academy members. The rest of you, you've got to wait till the end of the week on Sunday, but all of you can watch the trailer right now. It's on YouTube, it's on our Facebook, and it's absolutely incredible. So tune in for that. Again, we did an amazing job. Luis did an amazing job on that piece. So much going on. You would have seen me this morning live in the studio speaking to Kevin Green, who is the largest residential landlord in the UK. He owns like 1,000 properties, and that's kind of interesting, but that doesn't get you into London Real. What does is that he used to be homeless. And then he was a dairy farmer, and at 37 years old, he decided to go into real estate. And he is a fascinating Welshman, kind of a humble guy and a quiet guy, but obviously a real badass as well. Sir Richard Branson is one of his mentors, and he shares the stage with people like Bill Clinton and Alan Sugar, and I really had a great conversation with him. He impressed me beyond belief. A lot of times you expect these kind of, I expected a real estate fast talker, let me sell you some products, and he was nothing like that, and really special guy. We got a little emotional at the end when he talked about Mother Teresa, so that was fantastic. So there you go. As an Academy member, of course, you can watch that live. You can watch that episode now, but the rest of you, it's going to be out in about 5 or 6 weeks. So that was awesome. I got a few other things to talk about, and then we're going to get to your questions. London Live, television station here in the Greater London area, owned by the Evening Standard newspaper, is now featuring London Real. Every 7 a.m. on weekdays, you can see me interviewing our fabulous guests. We had Chris Eubank last week, Imogen Heap, Chase Jarvis, RJ Mitty from Breaking Bad, and now we're on TV. So I always told you that I was never going to sell out and join the mainstream media. Well, I did. And now our episodes are on there. They're pretty much the full version, but it's like a big chunk of it, so like 45 minutes of the interview, and it's amazing. We're getting a lot of people that still watch TV. I didn't know, and they're really tuning in and loving it. So super excited about that. We were working on that deal for about 7 or 8 months, and I'll tell you more about the details on that on another private call. But we're very excited. It's cool to be on TV, and we're going to keep this up, and just any platform we can get to show the world the message we're really transmitting here, which is really all about connection. It's about listening, it's about empathy, and it's about trying to find that higher goal, that spirit of what we're after, and really trying to recognize that we're really all in this together as humans. I would say that's a pretty good description of what we're doing at London Real. It just seems like two people talking, but there's a lot more involved, as you know, if you're a long-term listener. So that's happening. Very excited to be kind of on the mainstream media. A couple more things, and then I'm going to get to the questions. March 12th, the summit for the London Real Academy is happening. We were just at a venue this week, and we're going to announce it next week. So be here. It's going to be a limited number of spaces. It's going to be a one-day event. It's really for Academy members to come. We're going to have great speakers. It's going to be a lot of fun, and you're going to be able to meet a lot of other Academy members. It'll be like a focus group, but all day, and with hopefully probably 150 of you. So mark it in your calendar. There'll be email coming out shortly, so check your emails. It'll probably be filled up in probably 24 hours, so be ready for that. But it's happening, and I'm super excited. So I'll leave it at that. And there you go. Someone asked me recently about momentum. They're like, Brian, you've got lots of momentum right now. And Dan Pena talks about momentum, and I think last year he's like, you got lots of momentum. Keep it up. And we do. But momentum is created by the work you've done 6 months ago, 9 months ago, 12 months ago. And so many of the things that we're doing right now were put in place from planning that was done a long time ago. For example, the television deal. For example, the Ido Portal Moving Conversation. I mean, I pitched that to Ido probably 4 months ago. The Business Accelerator course, right now we're taking 10 London Real Academy members through 8 weeks of idea to product. We have live calls every week. It's like private mentoring, and it's incredible. I've got people in California, in Australia, in Switzerland, Poland, the UK, Kansas, and they're all coming together, and we're walking them through this very serious curriculum. It's a lot of hard work, but the amount of personal change they're going through is absolutely incredible. It's really more of a life accelerator course, and they'll tell you more about this when it comes to the end. But all these things we've been planning for a long time. So I would say if you want to get momentum in your life, the time to start is now. And right when you're having success, that's the time to start sowing the seeds for momentum further down the road. And trust me, I'm already thinking about how can we keep this going and what kind of proposals do I have to do and pitches, yes, I still pitch, do I have to do for the next 3 and 6 months. So that's what's going on there. But just that's my kind of thought on momentum. So let me take one of your questions, and then I want to talk about a couple of Academy members that are very special. But let me take this question from an Academy member. First of all, this is Brogan Rogers, and he says, "Hi, Brian. Can you share your thoughts on your purpose and how you found it?" Yes, definitely. Also, what do you think about releasing minimum viable products when it comes to content marketing and video blogs? Brogan, it's a great question you ask. Let's first talk about minimum viable products. Everything we've ever done at London Real has been a minimum viable product. And if you don't know that term, it's a technology term that people use, that you get something up that's it's the most minimal form of the product that you have in mind, just to see if people care, if they want to watch you, if they want to buy it. And I'm a big fan of getting these things out as soon as possible. And with the internet and all the tools you have, whether it's YouTube or Twitter or landing pages or anything, you can do it very quickly. The Academy, to be honest, we launched on April 18th of last year. I could have easily waited till July, August and built this whole thing and did all the tests and all the focus groups and the studies, but we decided to put something up as soon as possible and test it. The show, London Real, I didn't know it was going to pick up, but we did a minimum viable product. We taped an episode and put it up. For all of you reels around the world, whether it's Toronto Reel, the great work that MJ is doing, Olive in New York, Andy and the amazing guys out in Vancouver, or Sean at Beijing Reel, all of these people, I started off by saying, show me a pilot, which is an MVP, a minimum viable product. Otherwise, I honestly don't want to talk to you, because if you're not willing to put in the MVP, then it shows me you're not serious about it. But as soon as you do it, I'm interested, and then other people are interested. So, Brogan, put the MVP up. That's why I encourage everybody to put video blogs up, to write blogs and see what people say, because you can get that feedback, and right away you can start pivoting and iterating and finding out what people love about you, because there's things people love about you. Yes, I didn't know people cared about my story, but people do apparently, so I'm going to keep telling my story. But the best way and the only way you would know that is to tell your story. I didn't think my TED Talk was that interesting. I used to be a banker, now I'm a broadcaster. Then I went and saw Joe Rogan. Now I'm here. Now we got this crazy Academy. You could easily tell yourself that's not an interesting story, but people thought it was, but they wouldn't have known that unless I put it out there. So Brogan, please vlog, blog, put all that stuff out there. It's the only way to know. A lot of people are resistant because they're embarrassed. What are people going to think? Da-da-da-da-da. You know what? Don't worry about it. Just effing do it. Dan Pena, or as Ido Portal said in our recent trailer, meditate on your death every day. If you do that, then you'll realize the time for action is right now. It's not next week. It's not next month, because you could be dead. So I don't mean to get morose on you, but lately I've been meditating on my death. And if I think about that, I'm like, you know what? Am I ready to die? Well, if you're not ready to die right now, what do you need to do before you're ready to die? Okay, guess what? Do it today. It's just that simple. And that's what Ido means by meditating on your death. At least that's what I think he means. He might have a bunch of other meanings that it'll take me a few years to get. He's kind of like a Shaolin monk in that way. But again, I can't wait to drop this episode with Ido. It's absolutely fantastic. So I think you're really going to like that. Another question from Noura Naker, our community manager. She always asks me questions on the Real Talks, which I love. She says, Brian, my question is, how do you know when you're really good at something or really bad at something? It's a really good question, actually. At first I was like, that's kind of silly, but it's not. I think the best way to find out what you're good and bad at is to listen to what people tell you you're good at. And it could be they say you're good at cooking, or you're good at training, or you're good at being social, or you're good at fashion, or you're funny, or something like that. But we have in our mind what we think we're good at, what we're skilled at, but getting feedback from other people for what you're good at is very important. And Noura, the only other thing I'll say is, what are you passionate about? Because if you're passionate about something, it doesn't matter if you're good at it, which is really a subjective call. If you love doing it, then you got to keep doing it. And to be honest, whether you're watching or not, I would be broadcasting tonight because this is fun. I feel like I'm connecting with you and it's an excellent experience. I would have had that interview with Kevin Green today if nobody was on, if the cameras were off. I would have still loved to do that conversation. I love the Academy. I love the team here. I love the vibe. I love the energy. I love our struggles. I love our arguments to a certain extent. So if you love it and you're passionate about it, then you're by definition doing the right thing. And whether you're good at it or bad at it, in the long run, I don't even know if that matters, Nura. I really don't, because if you're passionate about it, you love it, people will see the passion, they'll be attracted to you, and that's how things happen, and that's how life is amazing. So those are my thoughts for you, Nura. A couple more questions here, but I want to just say there are some amazing people on the Academy, and they're just kind of stars. And the Academy is almost 1,000 members right now. And there's people on there that are just absolutely incredible. And there's so many of them, and I'm leaving so many of them out. Nura writes an email on Thursdays called Tribe Talk, where we tell you all about who those people are, and we feature people. And we've featured incredible people. We have a member that's missing a leg, and yet he's really doing amazing fitness issues with his body, and he's teaching fitness. We've got people, I can't even tell you all the stories. We have all these incredible adventures of incredible people that have like surpassed all of these odds that are just, you would think they're insurmountable, and yet they do it, and they inspire us all on a daily basis. And I just wanted to shout out a few of them and some of the things they're doing. Kevin McNamara is an amazing guy in Australia. He's doing these juice fasts. He's got incredible energy, always positive. He does private calls with Academy members and just offers his advice, offers his help. Another guy, Chris Albert, who's on our Business Accelerator group, and he's doing an amazing job, really getting pushed and pushing back. I love it. He offers his personal training services for free to people on the Academy just to connect. He does an amazing job. Obviously, Olive from New York Reel. She just had a meetup in New York. The energy from Olive is amazing. She interviewed me in August here at London Reel Studios. She's the girl that's a blonde and she has black hair. You can't miss Olive. Amazing energy. Tony Flow Reel. How can, Tony, everybody loves Tony Flow Reel. He's an amazing guy, lives in Hawaii, has his podcast Flow Reel. Interviewed me in San Francisco, and he's visited people all around the world, London Reel Academy members. Last seen in Amsterdam, he was in Australia, he was in New York, he was in San Francisco, he was in London. Tony's just an amazing member, and we just love his energy. Tim Lale, Kim came to the focus group about 5 weeks ago, and he told us a story about how he went to the Rolls-Royce dealership and he smelled the leather. This is something Dan Pena says. If you go, you smell the leather, then the goals that you have for yourself, say being rich and buying a car, well, they're made real by going to smell the leather. That's the concept. And of course, at a focus group, you can sit down in these chairs and smell the leather. That's a different one. But Tim's amazing. He's got great energy. He's got a great voice. I actually interviewed him at one of the focus groups, and I said he looks like 50 Cent, which he does. But he posted a video in the Rolls-Royce dealership in Berkeley Square, and he did a vlog in there, and he's like, "Hey guys, London Reelers." He said, "Beautiful London Reelers." Talks like that. He's awesome. And he was actually in the Rolls-Royce dealership, and I think they were looking at him funny. But just incredible energy in there. Adam Williams was at our last focus group, and he started doing black and white vlogs, I think from Manchester, and he's posting those. Love it, Adam. Incredible energy. And Steve Taylor, he was at one of our focus groups. He runs a publication called Unique Gloucester. I think I'm saying that right. I'm probably saying it wrong. And he's been really impressed with the accountability buddy system on the Academy, and he's just really making strides. And there's a lot of people that when they get paired up with the right accountability buddy, then they go really far on the Academy. And it's a service we offer for free, just for being part of the Academy. But to give it to you really harsh, it's only as good as you make it. So if you choose to not engage or ignore it, it's not going to help you. But if you fill out the form on the right-hand nav bar on the Academy and request an accountability buddy, or you go into the member search on the right nav bar and you type in, say, fitness or meditation or what city you're in or technology or something you want, there'll be a list of them, and you can contact them, let Nura know, and you'll have an accountability buddy. And I'm telling you, it's priceless, some of the things that people have been able to accomplish by having an accountability buddy. So those are two things for all the Academy members that are listening that I want you to do tonight. One is post a video blog of yourself on the Facebook private group, and that's 2 minutes, introduce yourself on your camera, and I look at the numbers, and there's still a few hundred of you that haven't done it. So get on it. It's a great way to meet people, get out of your comfort zone, and to go back with what Brogan was saying, it's a great way to publish yourself and do a bit of vlogging. So do that, and also get an accountability buddy. It's that simple. And if you haven't watched the Dan Pena Live at the Ritz, I'll do that too. So, all right, let's go. I got a few more questions here. 10 minutes. We're rocking and rolling here. Here we go. Daniel Kidrowski, he says, Brian, my biggest problem is perfectionism, and related to that, my fear of delegating work to other people. I hear you, brother. I hear you. I know you had similar struggles. Amen. So what helped you to shift your mindset and finally get rid of this limiting beliefs? Any tips? Daniel, let's talk about this. I was at the Dan Pena seminar last year at Guthrie Castle, and he's like, Brian, you're an engineer. You minimize risk, and you don't delegate. And he's like, I had no idea what was involved in London Real. Dan came on London Real, he blew up. He had so many people contacting him. I think he had thousands and thousands and thousands of emails on the back of that episode. And he never realized all the thought that went into it, the 6 cameras, all the work we did, the trailers, that I was doing a lot of that myself then. And when he saw me at the castle, he's like, Brian, like, what are you doing? You know, do you really need to get that trailer exactly right? Do you really need to do this? Do you really need to do that? Or do you need to delegate and scale this? And he was right. I really needed to let it go. And so many things around here I've decided to just let go and let other people have. Because as my dad said to me one time, he said, Brian, the most work that one person can do is the work of 2 people. It's a simple statement, but it's a very true statement. And think about it. If you work all day, every day, sleep 3 hours a day, you can probably do the work of 2 people. If you get other people involved and delegate and empower other people, you can start scaling to the work of 10, 50, you can really scale up. And you're going to have to do that if you ever really want to get any momentum in the efforts you're doing. Yes, you have to start small, you have to do everything yourself, but after that, you really have to let go. And sometimes, quite honestly, it's just a form of resistance. And when I want to go in and tinker in every detail, and the team here tells me a lot of times, usually it's because some of insecurity in me, or I don't want to actually go and pitch those big deals that I need to be worried about. So it's a great feedback to you, and you really do need to delegate. And one other thing I'll say to you before I go to the next question is just because you're good at it doesn't mean you should do it. I'll say that again. Just because you're good at it doesn't mean you should do it, which means in your business or any project that you're on, just because you like it or you're skilled at it doesn't mean you should do it. You should probably get someone to do it so you can work on big picture stuff. And one more thing I'll tell you that I learned from some of the technology companies around here. As a founder, you need to worry about 3 things. Only 3 things and you'll be successful. Here they are. First of all, have a North Star. That means have a vision of where you're going. Very, very important. Second, hire or attract the right people around you. So that means hire the right team or get the right people on the same bus as you. And the last one is don't run out of money. That's it. Rinse and repeat around and around and around. And if you look at the great CEOs, whether it's Jeff Bezos or Bill Gates or Travis at Uber, all those guys, that's all they do, those 3 things. It's really that simple. That's what they do. So you should be thinking about those things too. So there you go. Let's go back a couple more questions here. Chase Hunter has a great question. He put hashtag Real Talk, and this is Real Talk, Chase, so I'm going to give it to you real. How much did the London Real cost? I like the London Real, that's good. How much did London Real cost to start? Good question. Who funded London Real? How does London Real make money? How much money does London Real make? How many staff are employed at London Real? I can't tell you. No, I'm just kidding, Chase. These are great questions. I don't know if I've ever talked about this, so let's talk about it now. I always joke to people that London Real is sponsored by the banks. And in a way it is, because the banking system has funded this entire show and its entire creation. And I joke about that because I haven't worked in 5 years. And I haven't really been paid in 5 years. And if you would have told me this when I walked out of banking in January of 2011, that I wouldn't earn a penny for 5 years, I would have walked back in and gone back to my desk and toughed it out for at least another 5 years. Because the last thing I thought I would be doing is losing money on something that wasn't a real business. At least, you know, whatever. You can say that about us really objectively. But money isn't everything. And I'm a different, completely opposite individual of who I was. I think some of my friends, like from New York City, they don't even recognize me. They don't even talk to me anymore because I'm so different than the person they used to be friends with. And I wouldn't trade London Real for all the money in the world because we're doing something real here. We're doing something important. We're we're doing something that's valuable to everybody in the world. And, real human beings, their lives change when they watch some of the things that we do. And I change, and I've met the most incredible people and made the best friends. I made more friends in the last 5 years of my life than the first 40 years of my life, times 10. So, and made more personal connections and become a better person times 10. So that's the value I get. So the banks funded it, or I funded it for the first few years, and it was just something I did. And everyone would say, "What do you do for your real job?" And I was like, "This is it," because I put everything into it. So that's been the history of London Real. But that's not it. As of about a year ago, when I got back from the castle, I was like, you know what? It's time to really turn this around and turn this into a business. And it wasn't obvious how to do that, to be honest. But it really took a mind shift, and it took us really looking at it hard. And we alienate some people as well, but that's okay, because honestly, I believe that if something doesn't make money, then it probably doesn't make sense as an entity. And a lot of people will disagree and say, no, a charity is a great foundation, it does great things. But honestly, for something to really have a long-lasting impact, it needs to make sense financially. There's a great line that a hip-hop artist said, if it doesn't make dollars, then it doesn't make sense. And I really believe that. And so you can be lazy and say, no, we're just making great videos, we're going to keep it up, blah, blah, blah. Or you can say, why don't you take the hard choices and buck up and do some work and turn this into a business that then you can use to make beautiful videos and hire great people and get members in and really scale it and make it amazing. And that's what we've been doing. And so the Academy is there, and it's one of our revenue models. We have great sponsors. We have new digital courses like the Business Accelerator course, which is blowing up. And I think our next course will probably be more like 50 people on that, which will be coming. The response has been absolutely incredible. We have more courses to come as well. And so the idea is that we're building a product ecosystem, Daniel Priestley, KPI, and we're really turning this into an entity that makes sense and that people can work for and not just volunteer their time for. But we're still working out the kinks. London Real doesn't make money right now. That's just the real truth. But I'm hoping by the end of the year it will. So that's where we're at right now, and that's real talk, baby. That's real talk, Chase. Staff are employed. We've got probably 10 or 12 people who spend either full-time or part-time contributing to London Real. That's probably about right. Probably more like 12. Yeah, it's big, right? There's a lot going on behind the scenes to make everything happen and come to you the way it does. And we love it. The people here are incredible, and they're our greatest asset here at London Real. So there you go, Chase. That's some more real talk. A couple more questions here. We got about 3 minutes left. Let's see. Paul Hurley, we're going to finish on this one. He says, Brian, what is your goal for London Real Academy in 2016? He adds a smile emoticon to that. Paul, I really appreciate that. I get asked this question a lot. I covered this a bit when Olive interviewed me in August, but to be honest, that's almost 6 months ago, and my vision changes so much. We had a team meeting on Monday, and we do a video call, and everybody gets together, and we all say something we're grateful for, the one thing we want to get done today that we've probably been putting off, and an affirmation. And my affirmation was, London Real is the fastest growing and coolest new media company in the world. And that's what I believe we are, and that's what we are. And if you look at the content that we're putting out these days, you look at the people we're speaking to, astronauts, we're putting out amazing videos about movement people, about icemen, about astronauts, and you look at the conversations we're having, the things we're doing on the Academy where people are achieving their goals and they're meeting people and they come here at the studios and they're making physical connections and they're questioning things. We're on television. We're now offering these really deep 8-week courses where you take ideas and turn them into businesses. Our plan is to take this and 10x that and make it to where when you have a conversation about a new media company, London Real is there in that conversation. And we're doing it because there's passion here, and we're all passionate about what we're doing, and we know we're doing it differently. And so I'm not worried. I don't sweat other media organizations because they don't have the drive and the passion that we do. And the thing is, and this is a funny thing that people forget, when you get big, you get bloated and you get lazy. I guarantee when the BBC was 100 employees, they were fast, they were quick, they were hot. But when you get to be 10,000 employees, you can't really do stuff. You lose your culture, you lose your brand, you lose everything. And we are the opposite side of that spectrum. And we're here. We're here to stay. We can't stop. We won't stop. And so that's my vision for the future. We're going to enjoy the ride. I'm loving this right now. We're going to look back in 6 months and say, I can't believe we're here now. And that is our plan. That's not our plan. That's what we're here to do. And as Conor McGregor says, we're not here to take part. We're here to take over. And that's the way I feel about London Real. So there you go. I'm going to drop the mic, slam it on the ground here on that note. Thank you so much. This is Real Talk. I love answering these questions live. Please submit them on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube. You get priority as a London Real Academy member, which you can do in about 5 minutes. You can sign up. And as long as you're cool and you work hard, we keep you in the academy. Otherwise, we kick you out. And you can come here in the studio, sit down here, meet Winston the dog, sit in this chair, smell the leather, meet me, and we can help you really upgrade your peer group, build a better version of yourself, and help take it to the next level, because that's what we're all about. That's it. This is Real Talk. I'm Brian Rose, and we're out of here.